Now let's check in with Christopher Nunley with the forecast. We have a lot going on this evening.
A lot going on. After a quiet start to the morning, we've really started to see that radar light up over the past couple of hours. You can see initially the rain was off the coast, and now we're starting to see it build in over western Washington and right on here in Seattle, starting to see some light rain in downtown, and that is extending toward Everett as well as Tacoma. And notice across the Kitsap Peninsula as you work your way toward Port Orchard, Bremerton, we're seeing some of those pockets of that darker green color. That's some moderate rain. This is going to build across Puget Sound and move into Seattle over the next half an hour, so expecting those rainfall rates to increase here in Seattle and across parts of King County. And the reason why we're seeing this atmospheric river, this is the culprit for some of the rain that we're going to see tonight into our Friday. And look at this impressive, extending thousands of miles out over the Pacific. This is that rich subtropical moisture moving into the area, and that's going to lead to some heavy rainfall rates, possibly allowing for some areas of flooding. And because of that, there's that flood watch that kicks into effect at 11 p.m. tonight, and this continues all the way until 5 p.m. on our Saturday for Mason County as well as King and Snohomish counties. Yes, that includes Bellevue, Marysville, Shoreline, Everett, Seattle, all included within that flood watch. We're also talking about that possibility of snow tonight into early tomorrow morning that could impact Snoqualmie and Stevens. Passes a couple inches possible along I-90, Highway 2. Heavier snow, though, where we have a winter weather advisory for northern parts of the Cascades, and the winds are going to be a pretty big deal as well. This wind advisory kicks into effect here in about an hour for coastal parts of Washington, extending into the San Juan Islands and northwest interior. Near the coast, there could actually be winds gusting in excess of 50 miles per hour. That could lead to some power outages. Because of the possibility of power outages and flooding, we do have a first alert weather day beginning today at 4 p.m. This continues throughout most of our Friday, expiring at 11 p.m., expecting those heavy rains and gusty winds. This could lead to some minor areas of urban flooding and possibly some minor river flooding as well. And there's some spotty power outages that could occur where those strongest winds are possible. So not going to be a widespread power outage event, but there's that possibility of some isolated power outages. So we'll take a look at the future wind gusts here in a minute. But notice, if you've been watching over the past, say, 45 minutes, you've seen the visibility start to decrease, that cloud deck lowering over downtown Seattle. The streets are getting wet, folks. If you can leave work a little bit early today, maybe do so to avoid some of that heavier rain that's going to build in this afternoon. We're going to see an uptick in those winds as well. Temperatures are going to be a good 5 to 8 degrees below that seasonal average. As we work our way toward 4 p.m., that's when we kick into effect that first alert weather day. Notice the intensity in the rain. See the dark green colors, the yellow colors start to increase. That means the rain's going to get a little bit heavier as we work our way into the afternoon. Dinner time going to be wet area wide. Tomorrow morning, wet commute for most of western Washington. Possibly some rain shadowing effect near Tacoma, Seattle, possibly towards southern parts of Everett. That should start to fill in, though, by tomorrow afternoon. And from the coast to the Cascades, we're going to see some moderate to, at times, pockets of heavy rainfall across western Washington. That will continue into the early evening hours, but then we see that decrease in intensity by 11 p.m. and that's when that first alert weather expires due to a lot of the winds starting to die down and that rain decreasing in coverage. Later on this evening, we see the wind starting to increase, especially for coastal parts of Washington near the Strait. That eventually builds into parts of Puget Sound. We could see winds gusting between 40 and in some cases up to 50 miles per hour, and that could cause some power outages. This is tomorrow afternoon around this time. Those winds will start to die down, though, as we work our way into tomorrow night, into our Saturday morning. Rain widespread 1 to 3 inches outside of the rain shadowed areas. Again, that includes Seattle and Everett. We're talking about several inches for the Olympic Peninsula as well as the Cascades, and some snow overnight into tomorrow morning for the passes. That could increase that slushy travel for Snoqualmie and Stevens Pass. We see it change over to rain before flipping back to snow on our Saturday, and we could see several inches of snow for all the passes by Saturday. We see some cold temperatures moving behind the cold front. We're going to see highs struggle to get into the low 40s for the upcoming work week.